Welcome back to the deep dive. I hope you're ready to settle in, because today we are doing something a little different. We are uh, stepping into a time machine.
A time machine, I like that.
We are leaving the modern world, the notifications, the screens, the constant connectivity, completely behind us. We are going back to San Francisco in 1974.
A fascinating time and place, and a very specific flavor of San Francisco, too. It's not the one people usually think of.
Absolutely. And let's be clear right off the bat. We are not going to the summer of love.
Yeah.
We are not, heading to Haight-Ashbury for flower crowns and psychedelic rock.
No free love here.
Not at all. We are going to a much grittier, much grayer reality. We are going to a world of flickering fluorescent lights, stale cigarette smoke, and the absolute crushing tyranny of the telephone.
The tyranny of the telephone. That's a great way to put it.
Today, we are diving into the novel Evil Genius by Claire Oshetsky.
It is a novel that is, it's incredibly difficult to categorize, isn't it? I've been turning it over in my mind since I finished it.
How would you even describe it?
Well, it's funny, but darkly funny, and it's also, deeply disturbing, surreal, and at times, honestly, pretty terrifying. But at its heart, it is a psychological portrait.
Yeah.
A character study of a woman named Celia.
Celia. She's 19 years old. She introduces herself right at the start by saying her life is comprised of love and death.
Which is quite a statement for a 19-year-old.
It is. And let me just set the vibe for you, because the setting here is practically a character in this book. It's 1974. Patty Hearst is all over the news. You know the image, right? The heiress toting a machine gun, wearing that saucy beret.
Which Celia actually goes out and buys for herself. That's a key detail.
It is, exactly. She buys the beret. She wants a piece of that radical, that dangerous energy. She sees that image and thinks, I want some of that agency. I want to be that person.
But her reality is so far from that.
So far. Here's the reality check. Celia isn't a revolutionary. Not yet, anyway. She works in the resident billing office of the phone company.
The phone company.
And we have to remember, for anyone listening who didn't live through this era, or who has, maybe forgotten, in this world, the internet doesn't exist. There are no smartphones. The telephone is, as Oshetsky writes, all there is.
Such a crucial detail to really get your head around. To understand the isolation here, in this setting, the telephone isn't just a tool, it's the lifeline.
Yes, everything.
It's the primary, almost exclusive way human connection happens over any kind of distance. It's the nervous system of the entire city. And Celia sits at this switchboard of connection, essentially, but she's completely disconnected herself.
She's a conduit, but not a participant. That's a great way to put it. She connects other people, but she is, uniquely alone in this crowd of voices. She works in this place of immense but really mundane power. She has this specific visceral phrase for what she does. She says she rips lips.
Ripping lips. It's such a violent phrase, isn't it, for what is basically a clerical action? It sounds painful.
It really is. It sounds like something from a horror movie or maybe a fishing trip, but it just means disconnecting a phone line. She says, if you don't pay, snap, you're dead to the world.
Wow.
That's the power she holds. She can silence you. But here's the spark. Here's what lights the fuse of this story. There is a murder. An executive at the company, a woman named Vivian Bianco, is shot and killed by her husband, Gene.
And this event, this extreme act of domestic violence, it just triggers something deep inside Celia.
It triggers a bizarre, really dark fascination. She becomes obsessed with it. She can't look away.
It acts as a catalyst. Think about it. Celia is living this very restricted, very controlled domestic life.
Incredibly controlled.
She observes this extreme act of violence, this ultimate love and death scenario, and instead of being repulsed, she's mesmerized. She starts to view her own life through the lens of this murder. It wakes something up in her.
It's like she sees a crack in the reality of domestic life, and she just wants to pry it open.
Yes. She wants to see what's on the other side.
So that is our mission for this deep dive. We're going to unpack how a restricted domestic life in the 70s pushes a young woman toward a psychological breaking point. We're going to watch her transform from, a passive observer into something else entirely.
Into something that might be described as an evil genius or, maybe just a survivor. It really raises the question, what does it take to survive a box that society, your job, and your husband have built for you?
And what happens when you finally decide to break out of that box?
Exactly.
Let's get right into it. Segment 1, the phone company and the murder of Vivian Bianco. Because to really understand Celia, you have to understand where she spends 8 hours of her day.
The setting here is so key. We really need to visualize the resident billing office. It's not a tech campus. There are no beanbag chairs or, espresso machines.
Oh, far from it. The way Oshetsky describes this office is just stifling. It's on the third floor of a building on 4th Street. You have the women, the operators, who are tethered to their headsets for 8 hours a day.
They are literally leached to the desk by a wire.
Literally. And then you have the men, the floor supervisors,
Yes.
sitting up on a dais.
Like petty dictators. Or, I don't know, kings looking down at their subjects.
They're literally looking down on them, arms crossed, surveying the room for any sign of slack, any talking. And there's this detail that just screams hostile work environment. It's total infantilization. If you have to use the restroom, you have to raise a little paddle.
And wait. You have to wait for a man to give you permission to take care of a basic biological function. It's humiliating.
And as Celia points out with this great, dry wit, these are men who don't understand menstruation.
Right. So they might just ignore the paddle. They might let you sit there in real discomfort because they don't think it's urgent or they just don't care.
So you have this dynamic where, on the phone, Celia is a god. She says, we were like harsh, cold gods. She can disconnect you, she can rip your lips, she can cut off your access to the entire world. But in the office, physically, she's completely powerless.
Utterly. She can't even pee without permission.
It creates this massive dissociation. She is powerful and powerless at the exact same time.
And just think about the auditory environment. She describes the voices she hears all day long. Every 3 minutes, a new voice in her ear. Drunk, belligerent, hostile, someone afraid of the dark, someone suicidal, a constant chorus of human misery filling her head.
She has to be the container for all that chaos, but she has no outlet for it herself. She just absorbs it all day.
It's almost like she's a sponge for the city's misery. She takes it all in, the anger, the sadness, the desperation of people who can't pay their bills, and she has to remain this cold god.
And in this pressure cooker, gossip becomes the only escape. It's the only currency they have. It's the only way to feel human.
Of course.
And the biggest piece of gossip, the story that completely consumes the office, is about Randall Smiley and Vivian Bianco.
This is the backstory of the murder. And the contrast between these two characters is just so sharp. Vivienne was an executive. She wore a yellow suit or a navy suit, but always a cream blouse.
Very pristine.
Very rigid posture. A woman who had clearly made it in a man's world.
And then you have Randall Smiley, who Celia describes as looking like a beach ball with legs.
Which is such a perfect, unflattering image. And it makes the affair so confusing to the coworkers. They can't figure out why Vivian, who is 4 steps up the corporate ladder, literally on the 6th floor while they are on the 3rd.
A whole other world.
Why would she be with Randall? He's unkempt. He's a mess. He's not the type an executive would ever date.
But they are together.
Is he?
They were. And the story of the murder, or rather the moments leading up to it, becomes this legend in the office. They call it the cliffhanger story.
And everyone tells it a little differently, but the core details are always the same.
This is the scene that Celia obsesses over. It's almost cinematic in her mind. So Randall and Vivian are in bed at her place in Pacific Heights. It's the middle of the day, the illicit thrill. And then the husband, Gene, comes home early.
It's a classic farce setup, right? Like a bad French comedy.
Exactly. Get under the bed. Get under the bed. So Randall dives into the bed. He's terrified. He's squeezing himself into the dust bunnies.
And he realizes there is a used condom left on the floor, right at eye level.
The smoking gun, or the smoking prophylactic in this case. It's such a gritty, uncomfortable detail. It grounds the farce in this really sordid reality.
It does. And Gene, the husband, he sees the boots in the doorway. He sees the condom. He screams, "What the hell, Vivian?" And then the gunshot.
But here's the fascinating part, the part that Celia really fixates on. Randall survives. He's still under the bed.
Holding back a sneeze. Can you imagine? Dust is falling on him.
And the husband, Gene, throws himself on the bed and just sobs right over his wife's body.
The mattress pushes down on Randall. It's claustrophobic. It's terrifying. He is literally being pressed down by the weight of all this grief and murder.
It's insane. But for Celia, hearing this story, it isn't just office gossip. It becomes a kind of template for her. She starts obsessing over love and death. She starts to wonder about the sheer intensity of it all.
She almost romanticizes it. She thinks maybe Vivian used up her entire lifetime quota of passion and terror in that one single moment.
Like a firework.
Yeah.
A bright, violent flash.
Exactly. Celia is starving for feeling. Her life is so numb, so regimented, that even this gruesome death seems vibrant to her. She calls it romantic and true. That's a dangerous headspace to be in.
Oh, absolutely. She's looking at a tragedy and seeing a release.
It connects to her own desire for revolutionary changes. She says she wants violent changes. She feels like she's exercising a new muscle in her brain. She's tired of the mundane. She wants the operatic.
And then her coworker, Helen, drops a theory that changes everything.
Helen, the quiet one.
The quiet one, easy to forget, the one who just nods along. But she comes up with this incredible idea. What if Randall Smiley planned the whole thing?
The evil genius theory. This just turns the entire narrative on its head.
Completely. Helen posits that Randall wanted to get rid of Vivienne. Maybe she was controlling him. Maybe he was tired of being the secret, so he planted the evidence.
He left the condom on the floor on purpose to trigger the husband's rage.
And Helen says this line, "Evil geniuses like to come across as cheerful bumblers."
That line is so important. It suggests that the people who seem the most harmless, the most incompetent, might actually be the ones pulling all the strings.
They hide in plain sight. They use their own perceived weakness as a weapon, as a kind of camouflage.
And Celia, she just loves this theory. The book says she is persuadable. It appeals to her on a deep level.
It plants a seed, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If a cheerful bumbler like Randall can manipulate life and death, well, maybe Celia can too. Because she's definitely seen as a bumbler by the people in her life.
Especially by her husband, Drew.
Oh, especially Drew.
Yeah.
Which brings us right to him. This is where the story shifts from, this workplace dark comedy drama to something much closer to domestic horror.
Let's unpack Drew.
All right, let's do it. Segment 2, Celia and Drew, the anatomy of control. So on paper, Drew sounds okay, right?
Oh.
If you met him at a party, you'd probably think he's a catch.
He's a scrub tech at the hospital. He has steady hands. He has a calm demeanor. He seems stable.
He's the guy who remembers to buy toothbrushes. He mows the lawn. He's responsible, pays the bills on time. He seems like the adult in the room.
But when you look closer, when you step inside that house, the dynamic is, it's terrifying.
It's the nice guy, mask slipping. It is the anatomy of control. Orshetsky portrays a very specific kind of abuse here. It's not about punching. It's not about black eyes.
No, Drew never hits her with a closed fist.
No, he pushes, he holds.
He strong-arms her, and he calls it therapeutic. He wraps his arms around her to help her see his side of things. It's physical restraint masquerading as a hug.
It's gaslighting made physical. He says, "I'm doing this for your own good," while literally crushing the breath out of her.
It creates this profound confusion for Celia. Is this violence? Or is it some twisted form of love? And that harrowing story of their wedding night just encapsulates this perfectly.
Yes. This scene is devastating. They get home, newly married, and instead of romance, instead of any kind of celebration, Drew sits her down on the bed.
And starts listing her flirtations.
He has a list. The mailman, the trash man, the paper boy, the bartender at the place down the street.
Yeah.
Anyone she has ever smiled at.
He calls her a slut. On her wedding night.
On her wedding night. And he says, "You'll learn." He's positioning himself not as a husband, but as a teacher. A grim teacher who needs to correct her behavior.
He is rewriting her entire history before they even start their life together. He's defining her as damaged goods from day one.
And Celia's reaction, it's pure fight or flight, and she chooses flight. She climbs out the window.
In her nightgown. On her wedding night. It's just an image of pure, raw desperation.
It's so ridiculous and so tragic at the same time.
Yeah.
She climbs out the window to get away from him, but she doesn't actually leave. She goes to a playground, sits on a swing for a while, and then she goes back.
Because where else is she going to go? And because the abuse is so insidious, she thinks maybe she is the problem. That's the goal of this kind of control, to make the victim believe they need the abuser to fix them. So she goes back and she starts to dissociate.
That dissociation becomes her primary defense mechanism. During intimacy, she imagines herself as a muscular swan flying away.
That image of the muscular swan is so powerful. It's not a delicate, graceful swan. It's muscular. It's about strength, but it's strength used entirely to escape reality.
She's flying above the bed, looking down at this man who is crushing her spirit. She separates her mind from her body, because her body is being constantly critiqued and controlled.
And the critique extends to everything. There's that incident with the Cosmopolitan article. Celia tries to take some initiative in their sex life.
Right. She reads some tip in a magazine about drinking a drop of wine from your navel.
Huh.
She thinks, okay, I'll try this. I'll bring some passion into this marriage.
A very 70s thing to do.
Totally. And Drew's reaction, he calls it disgusting. He shames her for even trying. He says, "You're disgusting."
He shuts down her sexual agency completely. He makes her feel slack and inadequate.
He tells her she's swimming because she isn't tight enough for him. It's just deeply, profoundly cruel.
It's all designed to destroy her self-worth, so she never even thinks about leaving. If she feels unlovable, she won't look for love anywhere else. She'll feel lucky that he, her great teacher, puts up with her.
And then we have the incident with the tree. This feels like a real escalation point, the moment where the physical danger becomes undeniable, even to her.
It is. So Celia is acting cantankerous. She's just bought a knife, which we'll get to in a minute, but she's feeling a little rebellious. They're in the car. She turns on the radio.
Drew turns it off.
She turns it back on.
Just a small act of defiance. I want to listen to the radio. It's such a tiny, normal thing.
And Drew rams the car into a tan oak tree.
But the detail is, he rams it on her side.
Yes, that's not an accident. He puts her in direct danger. It's a calculated loss of control. He creates a crisis to punish her for a minor infraction. He risks her life to prove a point about obedience.
And immediately after, the gaslighting kicks in. He blames her. He says, "It never would have happened if you hadn't started that pig-headed argument about the radio."
Look what you made me do, the classic abuser's line. And then he tells her to keep moving through it.
Keep moving through it. It's his mantra. Ignore the pain. Ignore the reality. Just survive. Don't make a scene. Don't acknowledge what just happened.
But the car dissolves. That imagery is so wild.
It's incredible. The battery acid leaks overnight, and the car just melts into the asphalt.
It's a perfect symbol for their marriage, isn't it? It looks solid on the outside. He buys toothbrushes, he mows the lawn. But there is this acid, this poison leaking out, dissolving the entire structure from within.
It's rotting from the inside out. And Celia sees it. She sees the car melting, and she realizes her life is melting down too.
So Celia survives the crash. She's bruised, her rubs are probably cracked. But something fundamental in her has shifted. She goes to a pawn shop.
And this is segment 3, the awakening. She enters this almost a fugue state. She just wanders into a pawn shop looking for a knife. She's done with being defenseless.
And not just any knife. The guy behind the counter tries to sell her a Swiss Army knife. You know, the practical choice.
It has a toothpick. It has a little pair of scissors.
And she rejects it immediately. She calls it a disemboweled thing. She doesn't want utility. She doesn't want to open a wine bottle or trim a loose thread. She wants a weapon.
She wants a killer's tool.
She buys 2. A dirk, which is a 13-inch blade, and a storgenin dup, a black boot knife.
The symbolism here is just so heavy and so deliberate.
It is. Her mother was a seamstress. Her mother's whole life was about sewing, keeping things together, making do, mending the tears in the fabric of their lives.
But her father...
Her father was an absentee figure named Dirk.
A bounder.
A bounder. I love that word. It evokes such a specific type of charming, unreliable rogue. A scoundrel. A reckless man. A man who tears things apart and leaves. So by buying the dirk, she's consciously choosing her father's legacy over her mother's.
She's moving from sewing to rending, from fixing to tearing apart. She aligns herself with chaos. She decides that if order means being crushed by Drew, well, then she chooses chaos.
And she starts wearing the black knife in her boot, and she says this line that just gave me chills. With a black knife in my boot, I could speak with Drew man to man.
It gives her a secret power. It changes her posture. It grounds her. She's not just a victim anymore. She's armed. Even if she never uses it, simply knowing it's there changes the energy in the room for her.
And she connects this new feeling to her personal mythology, the Crab Queen.
The Crab Queen. I love this detail so much. It's from some B movie she saw as a kid. Attack of the Killer Crab Queen.
A giant female crab. Pure chaos energy. An army of women destroying the rational world of man.
It's perfect. And Celia adopts this. She calls herself a minion of the Crab Queen. It's a way of reclaiming her own badness, because she's been told she's bad her whole life.
Specifically because of what happened with her childhood friend, Joe.
The repressed past. This is the core trauma that really defines her childhood. Joe was the girl who lived across the street.
When Celia was 11, she and Joe had this intense physical friendship, a romance, really. They explored their bodies. They found joy in it. She describes this egg in the throat feeling, that lump of excitement and fear.
It was innocent and it was natural.
Until Joe's mother walked in on them.
The slapping, the violence, the complete and total erasure of the friendship. Joe is sent to Cotillion to learn how to be a proper lady, and Celia is branded as perverted.
And the worst part is her own mother eventually tells Drew about it.
She gives him the ammunition he needs to correct her. So he knows she has this perverted past, and in his mind, that justifies his control. He has to keep her good.
He views her as a broken thing that needs his constant supervision and correction. He's saving her from herself.
So Celia accepts the label. She thinks, okay, if I'm bad, if I'm perverted, I might as well embrace it. I might as well be the crab queen. Might as well carry a knife.
If you're going to be punished for the crime anyway, you might as well commit it.
Precisely. And that leads us to the night she decides to finally truly break the rules.
Okay, segment 4, the night out. This is where the comedy and the tragedy really start to mix in this incredible way.
Celia decides she's done. She just has this moment of clarity.
She says, Drew is not the boss of me. A simple, almost childish declaration, but for her, it's completely revolutionary.
It's her declaration of independence. So she goes out with the second floor girls. Mina, Joan, Helen, Tammy. These women are freer than her. They talk back to customers. They even date them sometimes. They live a little.
And Randall Smiley is there, too. The cheerful bumbler. He's treated like a celebrity because he survived the scandal. He's the mascot of survival.
And they go to the San Francisco Hotel Bar, a fancy place.
Sure.
But Celia has an ulterior motive. She's planning to meet a customer.
The sock man, Lester Krebs.
This guy calls the billing office and asks the operators to put a sock on his willy.
It's bizarre. It's sad. He's just another lonely voice on the wire, calling out for some kind of connection, but in this distorted, fetishistic way.
But Celia, in her new rebellious state, invites him to come have a drink. She tells him to bring a sock so she can recognize him. She wants to see the face that belongs to the voice.
And he does. He shows up. He's sitting at the bar with a sock in his hand.
But the confrontation is just excruciating. The coworkers figure it out. Joan mocks him. She says, "You're not Celia." They treat him like a complete freak.
It's humiliating for him. But then in the middle of all this mockery, this shame, something almost mystical happens.
The sock man places the sock on Celia's shoulder.
Like he's knighting her, anointing her.
Yes, it's an anointing. And Celia feels it. The touch of the sock triggers this realization. She thinks, I am daughter of Dirk, minion of the Crab Queen.
It confirms her uncanny nature. She feels supernatural. It's like a transfer of energy from one outcast to another.
And you see the contrast so clearly. The sock man is mocked by the normal people, just like Celia is controlled by her normal husband. She feels this kinship with the weirdos, the outcasts. She realizes she belongs with the freaks, not the people who are afraid.
It validates her. She keeps the sock. She rolls it up like a little cinnamon bun and puts it in her purse. It's a talisman, a relic of her awakening.
The sock man leaves, and as a side note, the text mentions he later becomes a famous motivational speaker who just shouts love repeatedly at his seminars.
Which is such a perfect, absurd detail. He channels his obsession into something socially acceptable, just like Celia is trying to channel hers. He finds a way to exist in the world, and Celia takes note of that.
But Celia stays. She drinks a lot of frozen margaritas. She gets drunk. She misses her train.
And this is where the descent begins, segment 5. The spiral downwards into the night.
She's drunk. She's late. She knows Drew is going to be absolutely furious. She can feel his anger radiating all the way from the suburbs.
And then the train stops. There's been a suicide on the tracks, a leaper.
The atmosphere gets dark immediately. Death is literally blocking her path home. It disrupts the schedule. It forces her to stop moving and confront the night.
And on the platform, she meets a stranger, Blake Goodman.
He offers her a ride. He has a Porsche. And he asks if she wants to see his new puppy.
It is the oldest, creepiest line in the book. It's the, "Do you want to see the candy in my van" line? And Celia says yes.
So why does she say yes? She knows it's a trap. She's not stupid.
She says, blame the frozen margaritas. But I think on a deeper level, she wants to be the bad girl that Drew always says she is. She wants to commit the sin she's already doing the time for.
She wants to see if the grass really is greener on the sinner's side.
Yeah.
To test her own corruption.
Exactly. So she goes to his house. It has Corinthian columns on the outside. It looks fancy. It looks like the escape she might have imagined.
But inside, it's a total mess. There's dog poop everywhere.
The reality of the illicit affair, it's not glamorous. It's dirty. It smells bad.
The dog, whose name is Ace, is hyperactive and clearly unloved. Blake is a dog neglector. And to Celia, this is a cardinal sin. She connects with the dog more than she does with the man. She sees another creature that is being mistreated and neglected.
Blake tries to seduce her. And by seduce, I mean he starts fondling her in a dirty kitchen. It's pathetic.
And Celia realizes instantly she's not into it at all. He has poor fondling skills. The fantasy of the affair just dissolves instantly into this grimy reality.
But he doesn't stop. He gets aggressive. He pushes her down. He thinks because she came home with him, she owes him something.
And here is where the training pays off. The daughter of Dirk takes over. The Crab Queen wakes up.
She pulls the black knife from her boot.
She doesn't stab him deeply. She doesn't aim for the heart or anything like that. She slices him. A quick backhanded motion right across his midsection.
It's precise. It's controlled. It's a warning shot that connects.
And the dialogue that follows is just surreal. Blake says, "You stabbed me." And Celia replies, "I did not stab you."
It's gaslighting the gaslighter. She's rejecting his reality. It's just a flesh wound, she says. Keep moving through it. She uses Drew's line on him.
That is brilliant. She uses her abuser's logic against her attacker. She tells him to keep moving through it, minimizing his pain, just like Drew is always minimizing hers.
And the dog takes her side. The dog bites Blake. Even the dog knows who the villain is in this situation.
Celia walks away, and she feels sane and enlightened. She didn't kill him, but she drew blood. She defended her boundary. She realizes she can fight back. She isn't helpless.
She is fully awake now, but she still has to go home.
Which brings us to segment 6, the return. This is the climax, the showdown.
She walks home under the stars. She finds her mother's Oldsmobile in the train station parking lot. She drives the rest of the way. She is returning to the scene of the crime, her marriage.
She gets to the house. It's completely dark. She tries the door. It's locked.
And not just locked, bolted. Drew has installed a new slide bolt while she was out.
He's locking her out. He wants her to beg, to plead on the doorstep. He wants her to sleep in the car. It's the ultimate punishment.
It's a massive power move. But Celia refuses to play the victim role anymore. She doesn't knock. She doesn't cry. She goes to the neighbor's yard, gets a brick, and smashes the window to get in.
She breaks into her own house. The sound of that glass shattering. That is the sound of the old Celia dying. And Drew was waiting for her.
In the kitchen, with a gun, which turns out to be Celia's own .38 special.
He yells, "What the hell, Celia?" And he fires.
The roar of the gun, or rather, as she describes it, the silence of it, the deafening nature of that violence.
He misses her by inches. The bullet hits the kitchen wall.
And this is maybe the most chilling moment in the entire book. He lowers the gun and says, "Hello, wife."
He claims he thought she was a burglar. He spins this narrative immediately. A man's home is his castle. I have legal right to defend my home. He's got his whole defense ready.
He's framing her murder before she's even dead. He's saying, if I had killed you, it would have been your fault for breaking in.
He says, it's not some sleazy burglar lying dead on the kitchen floor. It's just my slutty wife. It's so calculated.
It shows that he has imagined this exact scenario. He has rehearsed it. He has probably fantasized about shooting an intruder and just folded her into that fantasy.
But Celia realizes. He knew it was her. He followed her shadow around the house. He saw her. He knew.
He knew it was a power move. He wanted to terrify her. He wanted to show her that her life exists only by his permission. He missed on purpose to show that he could have hit her. It's the ultimate strong-arm tactic. It's the ultimate threat.
And then the final punishment. He leads her to the pantry.
Her Barbie collection. Her last link to her mother. Her last link to any kind of innocent girlhood.
He has destroyed them, torn them apart, dismembered them.
And posed them obscenely. Scissors fucking, as the book puts it. It's a violent sexual display. It's a complete violation of her inner world. He's saying, I can reach into everything you love and corrupt it. It's devastating. Celia realizes in that moment that she thought she was the Jean Bianco in this story, the one who would eventually snap and kill. But she was almost the Vivienne, the victim on the floor.
She survived, but at what cost? The segment ends with Drew strong-arming her to bed. The cycle continues, but the stakes have now been raised to life and death. The illusion of safety is gone. The war has openly begun.
So let's synthesize this. Let's pull it all together. What does it all mean?
Well, Celia starts the story fascinated by a murder victim. By the end of the book, she has nearly become one herself.
It's an incredible escalation from ripping lips at work to slicing a man with a boot knife and then facing down a gun in her own kitchen.
The theme here, I think, is contained chaos. Celia is a vessel. She holds the Crab Queen, the spirit of Dirk, the repressed rage from her childhood. She's trying to survive in a box made by Drew, by the phone company, by 1974 society.
And that box is getting smaller and smaller.
But she is getting sharper. The knife is a symbol of that.
That brings us to our final thought. The title of the book is Evil Genius. Yes. The coworkers called Randall Smiley an evil genius for maybe framing a murder, for being a cheerful bumbler who secretly had a plan.
But as we leave Celia, standing in that kitchen with a bullet hole in the wall and a black knife in her boot, who is the real genius here?
And is she becoming evil, or is she just waking up? Is the evil genius the person who learns how to manipulate a toxic system in order to survive it? Celia's learning that to survive a mad world, perhaps you have to become a little mad yourself.
She thought the evil genius was someone else out there in the world, but maybe she's been birthing one inside herself this whole time.
She's certainly not the passive victim anymore. She's the minion of the Crab Queen. And heaven help anyone who gets in her way from now on.
It really forces you to ask, when does survival become villainy? And in the end, does it even matter if it's the thing that keeps you alive?
A provocative question.
That's it for this deep dive into the shadows of evil genius. Keep your eyes open and maybe keep a spare sock handy. You never know when you might need it.
Until next time.
Thanks for listening.